My name is Mike Benavi, also known as the Soul Guy, and I had military and police background. I decided to become a correctional officer because it was a state job. I get into my van just like any other morning, and I'm heading home. And I remember that I wasn't even tired, and the sun was just like shining bright in my eyes, but yet it didn't hurt to look at, and it was just a beautiful day. So I get in my van and I go on the road. And that Route 3, the speed limit was 70 miles per hour, which in kilometers is like about 110 kilometers per hour. So as I'm driving, like every morning, I all of a sudden, I don't know if I fell asleep or if I dozed off for a bit or if something happened, but for a split second, my eyes were closed and opened again, and I lost control over my vehicle. I started hydroplaning and spinning all over the place in a very high speed. And all of a sudden, I see a car coming in front of me on the opposite lane. And because it was but seven, like I said, it was 7:33. That's what the police record said. The time of the accident. I see a car in front of me, and I see a mom with two children in the back seat, and she was ready to drop them off at school. And I remember telling myself, no matter what happened, no matter what happened to me, if I fell asleep or if something happened to my car, I will not, no matter what, I will not hurt another person because of my mistake, I was thinking, or I will not take another life but my life, something like that. I know that I cared about that. So with everything I had, I turned my wheel to the right, with every bit of strength I had, and the car reacted, and I see myself heading into this, until today I don't know what it was. It was a concrete wall, a divider, some sort of, the stuff that you have in between lanes. It's a little concrete divider, and it was on a right side, and I'm heading towards it, and I'm having the most amazing feeling I've ever had in my entire life. Not only was the most amazing feeling, it was the most unique feeling I've ever had in my entire life, because I've never felt something like that in the physical body. I didn't know something like that existed. It was just complete bliss, complete spiritual bliss. And I'll try to explain and to describe it. First of all, the sound completely disappeared from my world, from my reality. You know, we can have quiet moments. We can go to a library, we can go somewhere and do a test, in school or university, and we can make sure that it's quiet in there. But even that type of quiet is the loudest of noise comparing to the silence that I felt. It was such a peaceful quiet, out of this world. And of course, there's no sense of smell, there's no sense of touch, of course, there's no pain. Instead, you feel like your soul is just everywhere, and you have all the answers to all the questions you always wanted to know. You just know everything. It's just like somebody is just petting you, tickling you in your back. You're very, very, very comfortable. At the same time, I remembered everything that happened from the moment I left work to the moment I got in the van, when I lost control over the car, and that I remember everything. It wasn't like that I got knocked out and just lost my conscience and started seeing things. No, like my memory of that was there, but I lost all my senses, my physical senses, one by one, besides the vision. Now, even the thoughts of this world disappeared. And it's something that doesn't exist in this world. I tell people we always think, even in our most relaxed moments, we still think about how relaxed we are. But in that moment, I had nothing. I just existed. And I wanted to be left alone. And I felt that I needed nothing. I felt perfection, spiritual perfection, even though I knew what happened. But then I felt weird. I felt like, why am I still stuck underneath this car if I'm gone? Or if I shouldn't be here. not even as a soul, if that's what a soul's supposed to feel like. And I remember that I was trying to get outside, and I feel like there was a barrier, like the car was just buried there, and I couldn't get out. And I'm looking, I'm upside down, and I'm looking outside the window, and the whole environment, this whole field, just looked foggy. It looked like it was a dream. Like, when you remember a location in a dream, it's very blurry. It's real, but it's not. It's real, but you can't touch it. It's just there. So that's how the outside looked. And it was just empty. It was just me. And then she was that lady. I saw a lady walking outside the car, about 4 to 5 feet outside the car. And she was in her mid 60s, something like that. I remember that she was dressed in black, and the most unique thing about her was that her clothing belonged to like the 1800s or the 1700s. It didn't fit 2014 at all. Like, it was completely old, dusty. She had a scar on her right cheek, and his right or left, I don't even remember, but it was a burn scar, just a tiny burn scar. And she was just pacing outside the car, back and forth, back and forth. And I remember that I couldn't speak because there's no sound, there's nothing like that. So I was waving at her. I was trying to wave to see if she can help me. And I remember that she was just pacing back and forth, and all she did, she just nodded no, like she wouldn't help. She didn't say a word. She just looked at me and just nodded. And as she was pacing, now I remember that old me would have gotten probably upset or frustrated, or would even just be mean to her or whatnot. But I remember for the first time that something had changed in me. I didn't even judge her. I remember saying that maybe she's worried that she's gonna hurt me or hurt herself, or maybe she's worried the car's gonna set on fire. Maybe she doesn't want to do more damage than good. I remember not judging her. I didn't know who she was. She looked really strange. She didn't look happy. I didn't feel protected by her, but she was just out there. And I remember that she wouldn't help, so I decided to close my eyes. And I'm like, I'm gonna just close my eyes, gather some more strength, and try to get out, or at least get out of that van. And I remember closing my eyes, and it wasn't even a split second before I opened it, and everything just came back to life. Just like you hit a play button on a movie that you just paused. Everything, the sounds, the car was still on, the radio was even on. There's like smoke and smells everywhere. And I start feeling pressure, though I'm still crushed there. I'm okay. I don't feel like I'm nothing severely wrong. Nothing's wrong with me. Like, physically, I'm just underneath it. And I just hear screaming, and I look outside and I see hundreds of people, if not more, and police cars and ambulances and people everywhere just looking from the distance, and even the media was there. And I'm like, what's going on? I was just so comfortable. It was so beautiful. It was so quiet, and everybody's just so rushing, and I'm just still trying to take in what happened, and I'm just still trying to relax and to almost go back to that moment of bliss. And I remember this paramedic just running to me. He's just tackling the car like a football player, and he's giving me an IV through the window, and he's screaming at me not to move. Even though I told him I'm okay, but he kept telling me, no, you're not okay. You think you're okay. Just don't move. I'm like, okay, I'm not going to move. So based on my experience, I believe that every spiritual awakening process, just like child's birth, is a transformation that involves a lot of pain, a lot of difficulties, a lot of challenges, sometimes even what we call suffering. But, you know, when my experience happened, I was able to connect and really replace my inner light with the light of my higher self, like just a higher version of myself, a better version of myself that is completely different and freed from who I used to be, came back. Now, when you mix the two, you're going to have it's going to manifest itself with challenges. So for 7 years, I had to fight. I had to completely fight the old character's life and lifestyle, and even circle, and to completely just refine myself, who I was. Because you have to understand, when I came back, everything that I used to like back then, I dislike now, and vice versa. I was completely a different person. So from being completely materialistic, I went the other way. And it felt like in the beginning, my soul was just taken into so many different places. Like life threw me into so many random places, unexpected places I've never thought I'm going to be. But it was simply to help other souls. And it's almost like to see all layers in life. And after 7 years of this crazy transformation, I was able to align with my soul. I was able to fulfill my soul purpose. Some of us, however, in this life will have to live a life of poverty and challenges. Some of us will have to live a life of wealth. And the main goal is to work on exchanging. If you have wealth, if you have enough, try to share it with those who don't. Try to donate, try to help, try to make somebody else's life better. And if you are unfortunate to have materialistic things in your possession, use whatever other light you have to influence other people, because even rich people sometimes can have a sad heart and a soul that needs comfort and a soul that needs advice, and find what's coming and knows that we are here to exchange, to give light, receive light, and raise in consciousness as a collective and as individuals. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching and listening. And I hope you resonate with some of this stuff. And I appreciate you, and I'm sending you love and light.